Hello, and welcome back to the Yesteryear podcast. I'm your host, James, and with me is the super spectacular Beth. How's it going today, Beth?
Going good.
Yeah? Nothing good, nothing exciting?
Just said going good.
Regular good? All right, cool. As always, we want to thank those avid listeners for coming back week after week, and if this is your first time joining us, welcome, and I hope that we don't scare you off being spooky. Yeah.
Right.
This week, we're doing Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. I got to tell you, this is a long movie, which means this is going to be a long episode. So make sure you have some snacks while you listen. That's what I wanted to say. I know you had snacks while you watched it, right, Beth?
No.
Oh, I thought you had snacks while you watched the movie.
I had a drink.
Oh, I thought you got snacks. I thought you got chips. Huh. I guess I was wrong. Well, I had snacks. I had a whatchamacallit that you got me.
Yeah, I got that for you.
Yeah, I was so appreciative of it. Whatchamacallit?
Yeah.
Whatchamacallit? There's no song for this.
No.
So this one has a lot of twists and turns in it. And I can honestly say I am still not sure of exactly what was going on. I mean, on the surface, you have basic story. Someone goes mad, kills people. But this movie has so many little nuances to it that it's hard to stop just there, just to be like, oh, he's mad. I mean, we always talk about movies having layers and being like an onion, but man, this movie, biggest onion, in my opinion, yet that we've reviewed. So, I do not really have a background story about this one because I was so young when it came out. But that being said, I've seen it many times since, and I've done extensive research on it, trying to deep dive into it to understand it. So I really have, even last night when I was sitting there, I was 4 layers deep in the internet trying to be like, well, actually it's the understanding of it. Really I was. So question to you, Miss Beth, what was your initial impression of the movie?
Well, I had a good initial impression because I heard this movie is up there on the top scary movies. It's like, when you see your scary movie, it's like, oh, you haven't seen the Shining. So I was really, my expectations were really high. Yeah. And then I also tried to read the book for this one last year, but I just couldn't get into it. I think I got to the point where they were at the hotel, and I just stopped.
Huh.
I just couldn't get any more into it after that. I just stopped reading the book. So I'm hoping that I was hoping that watching the movie would help me understand it better, and then want to get back into the book.
I gotcha. You say you were kind of excited about it, saying that you had a reason for it. Did you? What about the movie trailer?
The trailer was really bad.
Really?
Yeah, the trailer was incredibly bad.
Did you watch both of them? Because I saw two different. Yeah, I saw two different.
I watched only one.
I watched both of them.
Well, one of them I watched and was really bad intro to the movie because it was really strange to watch, but it pretty much gave the entire movie away. It pretty much just a play-by-play of what happened.
Huh.
But it was weird about it. So I gave it a 2 out of 5 for the trailer.
Oh, wow. See, I actually watched the trailer, as I said, and I thought it was it captured a bit of the movie's essence with how it was jumpy and just flashed scenes. So I was all excited because I watched it.
Yeah, no, I hated that. I don't like that. I think trailers should be trailers. I think they shouldn't give the entire movie away. And I think it should try and capture the essence, but not in a weird, flashy, just randomly showing scenes kind of way.
I got you.
Make it make sense.
Okay, all right, that's fair.
I wouldn't watch based on the trailer, and I wouldn't watch based on the DVD art or the poster art.
Okay,
I just wouldn't watch.
It's basically just his face, right?
Yeah.
Looking through them. Yeah,
that's not interesting to me.
So, The Shining is a 1980 psychological horror movie produced and directed by Stanley Kubrick. The film is based on Stephen King's 1977 novel of the same name. The movie stars Jack Nicholson, Shelley Duvall, Scatman Crothers, and Danny Lloyd. I wish my name was Scatman. I think that's a cool name.
I've always thought Scatman meant Poop Man.
So, the film centers on a family that is isolated.
Okay.
I'm not going to go on to that. The family's isolated at a sinister hotel during the winter. And I like that it's a sinister hotel. I wrote that. I didn't coin it, but I wrote it. Now, when I say based on the Stephen King movie, you have to really take that as it's based. Kubrick took a lot of creative licensing on this one and made a lot of changes. So they really are two different branches of the same tree, is how I call it. Both are great in their own right. The Shining was released on June 19th, 1980, and opened to mixed reviews. People loved Nicholson's performance, as well as the setting of where it was, the hotel and everything like that. Mm-hmm. However, people had a hard time following the story, saying it had a little rhyme and reason sometime. So, people also thought that the pacing of the movie seemed a bit slow. Although it lacked the typical thrills they had come to expect from Kubrick. Like, he had made movies like A Clockwork Orange and Dr. Strangelove. Have you ever seen A Clockwork Orange?
No.
I didn't know if you had seen A Clockwork Orange yet, because it's that's a weird movie. So I think that their expectations had been set so high, and that's why they had disappointment. Still, as always, I could care less what people say. I think it's a fantastic movie myself. The Shining did have a budget of $19 million and grossed over 46. So it's a success either way.
Yeah.
It doubled its time. Our money, boom, you win. I would also say that it continues to make money as an all-time classic. So, good on it.
Still winning.
Yep. All right. So, say we buckle up and jump in?
Yep.
Or you can't just nod.
Sorry, that's why I was like nod, and I was like, oh, I gotta say something.
I'm like looking at you like, uh-huh.
Yeah, I forget sometimes, because that's my kind of like my initial response in conversations is just to like nod to show that I'm listening, because that's what you do. So just nod a lot. And then I'm like, oh, wait, this is a recording of our voices, and we have to actually say things.
Right. We don't have the video.
Yeah.
Which you're good with, I'm sure.
I'm fantastic.
I know you hate video.
I hate that.
All right. So we open on a very pretty landscape with some very ominous music playing.
Did you notice something about the music?
In fact, as a bit of throwback for you, Beth, I believe this is the same music that played in Sleeping with the Enemy.
I was so upset. It activated my flight or flight. I sat there and it starts playing. It goes, doo, doo, doo. And I was like, oh no. I paused the movie and I almost thought about calling you and being like, I'm not doing this one. We have to pick a different one. It pretty much just set the tone for the entire film for me right there. I was so mad. But, it sounded like it, but then it didn't at the same time. Right. So I was like, oh, I don't know if this is 100% the same piece.
Yeah.
But, dude, man, that first dude, I was like,
Yep.
Checking my windows.
I was so excited.
Seeing if the cans are there.
I was like, and I was like, that's the Sleeping with the Enemy music. I said, oh, it sure is. I bet Beth just loved that right there. As soon as it kicks on, it's right into it.
I have it in all caps on the top. I was. I just instantly very anxious. I was like, oh my, gotta go into the bathroom, check the towels that are either gonna be neatly in lines, and the beans, the cans.
Got the cans all lined up correctly. That's so funny, man.
That's a good movie.
Yeah, it is. It is a good movie. When you're a jet, you're a jet. Fine, I won't sing it. I like that part.
I like that part too.
All right. So it doesn't mean you have to sing it.
No, I don't want to sing it.
So we pan over a car driving through the hills, heading toward the mountainside. We get a bit of credits with the title, but nothing horrible. The music, though, freaked the dogs out something furious with the creepy voice noise, like the noise. The dogs were like, they all got Scatman Crothers. So
Poopman Crothers.
Oh, stop. So we then pan over a hotel that is set against the mountains and are shown a pop-up that says The Interview. I'm going to mention all the pop-ups, but they don't necessarily have a timeline to them.
No, I didn't really understand the point of that.
Closing day.
I get the time skip kind of deal, but if you're not giving, if it's not like, okay, you're starting Monday the 1st on May.
Right.
And then it's like a month ahead. Okay, now we're, in June.
I honestly...
April? No, April, May. Yeah, June.
Right. Yeah. When I was thinking back to it, I knew that it did that, and I thought that it was more consistent. But it was like Monday, Thursday, 8 a.m. And
it was like Monday.
8 a.m. what day?
It was like Monday. A month passes. 2 hours later. And so, what?
Yeah, I wasn't even sure that there was that much time. I mean, like, literally, it seemed like it was like a week.
Yeah.
Like, he was there, and he was like, oh, I love it here. And then all of a sudden, he's murderous. And I was like, oh, that was quick.
Yeah, and
So I don't know the timeline.
I don't like the pop-up thing because they make me think of those weird like the short films that I mentioned this before on a different episode where it flashes images that are sometimes really weird and gory or quick things like that. I don't like those. Those make me very anxious. And when it pops up like that, it's just like the words make me think of that. Does it make you think of that?
No. But I understand what you're saying.
I just don't like those, I just don't like those kind of things at all.
That's fair. So this one pops up, says the interview. A man named Jack Torrance introduces himself to the receptionist and states that he is there meeting with the manager. She directs him where to go to meet Mr. Ullman. A man named Bill Watson also joins the interview. We then pan to an apartment where a boy and a lady are eating lunch watching cartoons. Always watching cartoons. The mother asks if Tony is excited about going to the hotel, and the boy makes his finger talk to the mother, saying that he is not excited to go to the hotel.
Yeah, I don't like Tony.
Not a Tony fan?
No. Were you a Tony fan?
No. Sorry. So I actually said, so that's a little weird right off the jump that this kid makes his finger talk to his mom, but whatever.
And then he says it's a little boy living in his mouth, and it just keeps getting worse.
Yeah. Yep. We then come back to the interview in progress and see that Mr. Watson has joined. We find that Jack is a former teacher, but is a writer now.
So I was thinking about that.
Yeah.
I was thinking about if Jack was my teacher, I think I would have to drop the class because he looks scary, like the mouth and everything and his eyebrows. He looks terrifying. If that was my teacher, could you imagine working on your paper and then that face is just right next to you? Like, look, what are you writing?
No.
No, I'm gonna crumple the paper up and throw it away.
And then the music comes.
No, the music does not start playing. The music starts playing. I'm just gonna go home and cry. Check the beans.
I love that part where she opens the window and then she just starts crying.
Yeah, you're gonna come home and the cans are gonna be all on the ground because I'm freaking out in the kitchen. I'm like, they can't be in the order. They can't be in the order. And then you're gonna have to put me in a white room.
There it is. There you go. You're in the white room.
I'm in the right room.
So Mr. Ullman advises of the seasons and what the season is like, and a bit of the history of hotel. He also tells Jack of what the job entails. Mr. Ullman tells him physically the job isn't tough, but the mental aspect can take a toll on the person due to the isolation. Yes. So
I was thinking about this part of it.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, modern time. How would we handle this? I mean, you think I think we'd be good for a couple of months until that winter storm hit and the lines went down, because then our connection or Wi-Fi would be out. But I think for the most part, I got Wi-Fi. I'm good.
I'm gonna tell you, the forest service people are gonna be real sick of me because I'd be calling them all the time on that radio, being like, "Hey, you there? Over." They'd be like, "Quit calling. This is for emergencies." Be like, "That's all good. So what you wearing? Over." So,
you want to come up and play some golf?
You got the cat? Is Scatman there? So,
stop bringing up Scatman.
Sorry.
You keep saying that, and my initial thought is just Poop Man, and you're like, stop saying Poop Man. That. Yeah, but I'm gonna coin it.
You're coining it?
No, I'm not gonna coin it. That was sarcastic.
I got excited. I thought you were coining something. It's like, oh, from my heart. Thank you.
I hate that word.
I'm sorry.
I hate the word coined it.
So Mr. Ullman also tells Jack the tale of what happened during the winter of 1970. He tells of Charles Grady, who went crazy and killed his family with an axe. He says, it's not funny. I know, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you laugh at the weirdest things.
I always do. He says that the police called it cabin fever and that it can happen when people are shut in together like that. Jack says it's pretty messed up, but it doesn't bother him.
No, yeah, and I was thinking about that too. I was thinking, well, it's a big hotel, and later on they talk about that they didn't have to stay in that one room. They could spread out. But yeah. I was thinking, if we say the family of us, we go up there, and they're like, all right, well, here's this, and I mean, I would spend most of my time in the kitchen because I'm, fat, but
jeez.
I'd be roaming around, dance. They had a nice piano. I'd probably just be obnoxious on the piano all the time, and then I'd be in I'd pick a room and I would just live in there. I'd act like I was living by myself.
That's fair.
That would be it. And because otherwise I'm going to get really anxious and be like, oh, people in the hotel. I'd just get nervous.
I would be nervous all the whole time. That is because I'd be like, did I move that? Did I put that there?
Right.
Did I wash these?
I couldn't do it by myself. I'd have to be with other people, but I want to spend most of my time alone.
Well, let me tell you who I don't want to do it with. Shelley Duvall. She's the worst. I'm going to put that out there.
Wendy?
Yeah. The worst. Just the worst. To me. I'd have no time for her.
I'm trying to think of the bad thing she did.
No. Just annoying.
Oh, you just don't like her?
I don't like her.
Well, I don't want to do it with Jack because he's terrifying.
At least he's...
Could you imagine if I brought that face home? I'd be like, he's beating me with my eyes. I would look at you and I wouldn't say anything, but my eyes would be wide and bruised, and they'd be like, help me.
I keep having accidents.
Just look at his face. Oh my gosh. The beans were in order.
Shoot.
Oh no.
Nice. So we come back to see that Danny is talking to Tony in the bathroom, and it seems to be that Tony has a psychic ability because he tells Danny...
I don't think Tony's real. I think it's Danny and his
Right.
weird demons. But
yeah, he tells him that his dad already got the job, that he's going to be phoning Wendy soon. Lo and behold, phone rings. It's Jack calling Wendy to tell her that he got the job. That he's not going to make it home because he's got paperwork and stuff to do. So, Danny asks Tony why he doesn't want to go to the hotel, and Tony keeps saying he doesn't know, but Danny begs him to please tell him why. So he shows him images of blood coming out of the elevator and two freaky looking girls in blue dresses. I'm like, that's fair. Why?
And I, who have never seen this movie before, have heard a lot about the elevator and the blood and the two freaky girls.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be honest, even after watching the movie, I literally don't understand the point of those two things. I understand the girls because they died there, but the elevator thing, that made no sense to me.
Okay. So we get a flash of the boy screaming, and then he is in a bed being examined by a doctor. The doctor asks about Tony, and Danny says he's the little boy that lives in his mouth.
I'm really just gonna put my kid up for adoption. You start talking like that.
Mom's just sitting there looking at him like, oh, that's his imaginary friend.
Yeah.
So she keeps pressing him about Tony, but Danny says he doesn't want to talk about Tony anymore. When he says that Tony is his imaginary friend, as I said, the doctor tells Wendy that she doesn't think she has anything to worry about in regard to Danny's physical being. The doctor asks about when Tony first showed up, and she tells of how he first appeared in nursery school and that he had suffered an injury where he dislocated his shoulder. Suffered an injury where he dislocated...
No, see, my first thought was like you fall off the monkey bar swing.
Oh.
That's
well,
reasonable.
basically, the story goes where Jack came home drunk and jerked Danny up due to Danny scattering his school papers all over the place. That's the story.
Yeah, and I think as a mom, I wouldn't have said that. I would have been like, oh, kids being kids.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been like to some strange doctor lady who probably has involvement with the government. I wouldn't have been like, yeah, my wife or my husband, he came home drunk, beat my kid, beat me.
Yeah. Nice. But see, that's not the way she tells a story. She tells if it was just an accident, just one of those things that happened.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But she said some good came out of it because Jack promised never to drink again.
It's been 5 months.
It's been 5 whole months. And I'm like, lock you up. Lock him up.
Well, she's got problems, obviously.
Oh, I don't have time for her.
I like her outfits.
She is fancy.
I liked her little outfits. She
With
had
the little pockets in the thing and stuff like
well,
that.
the different colors and everything. She had nice outfits.
Okay. I guess. And she has to have some redeeming qualities. I guess it's her outfits. So, we then see it is closing day for the hotel, and the family is headed up to there to take over their posts. The family dynamic is quite strange, in my opinion. Jack seems annoyed at all times with Wendy and Danny. Like in the car ride. Like his face doesn't say, I love these people.
No.
It doesn't say, I want to hear you talk. It says, I just wish you didn't exist.
But it's
That's
funny,
really what
when he references to his family, it's always, oh, I hate Wendy, but I love my son.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of interesting. Because it seems like he genuinely cares about Danny at times.
I guess.
When talking about him at least, and not trying to murder him. But, the wife always seems to get the short end of the stick.
He hates her.
He does not like her at all.
No. So Jack tells the story of the Donner Party that had to resort to cannibalism to survive. And he's like, see?
The story's so interesting.
He saw it on TV, on television. And I'm like, you're creepy, dude. I would be sitting back with my seatbelt on and be hush mouth.
Oh, I wouldn't talk if that was my father.
That's what...
I wouldn't talk. They would think that something was wrong with me. I'd be terrified to speak.
Yeah,
and looking at him, I don't want to touch him either. I don't want him near me. I would be terrified of that man because he looks terrifying.
Yeah.
He's scary.
So they arrive at the hotel and it's busy closing down. Mr. Ullman says they are going to show them around the hotel as well as to their apartment that they're going to be living in. Meanwhile, Danny has discovered the games room and seems to be hanging out there. We're told more about the history of the hotel as Mr. Ullman gives the tour. This part, Danny is throwing darts and sees the little girl show up. And they kind of smile and laugh, and then they walk out. So that's creepy.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Ullman shows them the apartment they're going to be staying in, and they seem happy about it. They're like, oh, it's cozy. It's real nice. And then he takes them to the hedge maze and tells them that when it was being built, they found that it was on an Indian burial ground.
Yeah, as soon as that was mentioned, I was like, great, demons.
Right. And that they had to fight off a few attacks while it was being built. Huh. So probably a good place to live. That's,
yeah. Well, the hotel itself was really nice, I thought.
It was beautiful.
I mean, it was like fancy. I mean, they got crazy extra stuff in there that doesn't need to be in a hotel, in my opinion. But, it's there. So
it's really
I can't imagine you getting bored too quickly with this place.
I wouldn't go in the hedge maze.
I don't. And I say that, but I probably wouldn't explore it all. I'd be too scared to. I don't like big places. They stress me out. But yeah, I wouldn't go in the hedge maze at all. Why would you do that?
I don't even want to look at it.
I know.
It gives me, those things give me anxiety.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I'm going to get lost in there. Nobody's going to know that I'm in there and I'm going to be stuck. And it just gives me anxiety to think about them.
And we, at Busch Gardens, they had the maze there. And when we go up with Mom's parents sometimes, they would always take us through that. And there was always like little sections in it where you could take a stamp and then stamp a paper, but I never had the paper for it.
Oh.
But I was always like terrified that we were going to get stuck in there and then not be able to leave because it would take so long. And I'd be like, oh, I gotta pee.
Of course you would have to pee. So
I was also crying.
So
Just don't like mazes.
Yeah, that's fair. So they also see the snowcat and are told that can be used in transportation if needs be. I don't know where they'd be going, but I guess, hey, we can use this if needs be.
Sorry, not to keep going back to the maze thing,
Go ahead.
Would you rather go through a hedge maze or a cornfield maze? Which one would be better for you?
Man, I guess the hedge. The corn would really stress me out because I feel like I would want to just start walking through it straight.
Yeah. Yeah. No, apparently they have one here, a corn maze that you can do here, and it's opened now. And some of my friends want to go do that.
Are you going to go do it?
I think I have to.
Oh my God.
I'm not happy about it because they were like, oh, it'd be really fun if we went through this. And I was like, because my initial reaction is that we're gonna get stuck somewhere and be like, oh, which way do we turn? And I'm like, well, let's just go start walking through the corn.
That's what I would want to do, because if you walk in a straight line, eventually you should come out, right? Well, what if you're walking the wrong way in the corn?
Corn can't be endless, but also you walk the wrong way, you die. That's my thought.
Right.
So many deaths in the corn maze.
Cornfields are huge.
They're huge. And I can only walk for like 5 minutes before I'm out of breath.
Right, and have to use the restroom.
And, yeah.
So...
Why didn't we stick to the path? No, I think we should start walking through the corn.
Immediately starts going through the corn.
Where's Beth? Curled up and crying.
She's in the corn now. So, nice.
Amen.
So, they go... Amen. So, they go into the gold ballroom, and it's grand and fantastic.
And unnecessary. Why do you need that in a hotel?
For parties. Hotel parties. Hotels have ballrooms and such like that.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
You ever been to a ballroom?
Yes.
You put on a nice dress?
I was pretty. I wasn't the prettiest girl at the ball, but I mean, I've never been the prettiest girl at the ball. Oh, that's unfortunate. I'm sorry.
Were you prom king at all?
God, no.
I know you seem like that kind of guy.
Nope. Didn't want to be. Had no time for it.
Oh, really? Did you have the option to be?
I mean, if I wanted to run for it and everything like that, I probably could have gotten some good votes. I'm not going to say I couldn't have, but no. What?
That seems kind of like the douche thing that you would have done. Like the fact that you're a different person now.
I'm not.
You're
So Mr. Ullman tells that all of the booze have been removed from the premises due to insurance costs, and we're introduced to Dick Halloran. Danny comes in and joins his mom while Mr. Halloran shows them the kitchen. He shows her the layout of as well as the walk-in freezer.
He was scary.
A little bit.
I didn't like him that much.
Yeah. He also calls Danny Doc when he talks to him. Wendy asks Mr. Halloran how he knew to call him Doc, and he gives kind of a run-of-the-mill answer, like, oh, I overheard you calling him that, or something like that, and then he just kind of plays it off. Then Mr. Halloran uses psychic abilities to ask Danny if he wants some ice cream. Wendy goes off with Jack, and Mr. Ullman, while Mr. Halloran takes Danny over to get some ice cream and talk to him about he's gonna murk
you want
him
some ice cream?
You want some ice cream? You're done.
Yeah.
So yeah, but he talks to him about the psychic abilities and how it's called shining. So badoomch, that's the name of the movie. He tells him there are others that have the ability as well, but Danny says that Tony told him that he isn't supposed to talk about it. Danny tells Dick about Tony and how he shows him things, but that he can't always remember what he's told. Like he says sometimes it like puts him to sleep to show him or something like that. So I'm like, well, then what the heck's the point of being told? But whatever. Dick asks if Tony has ever told Danny about the hotel, but Danny can't really remember. So Danny asks Dick if he is afraid of the hotel, and Dick says no, but that the hotel can shine just like people can, which is a pretty cool little
I don't know, all I got from this little interaction was demons.
So, demons.
Demons and ghosts. I just knew.
Danny asks Dick if there's something bad at the hotel, and Dick tells him that there are traces of bad, but that it's nothing that can hurt him. It's just like pictures. So Danny asks about room 237 and why Dick is afraid of it. And Dick tells him it's none of your business. Stay out. So I'm like, oh.
Yeah, and you know what? Should have stayed out.
Right. If somebody tells you to stay out, stay out.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I feel like I get maybe a little curious.
Yeah. Especially being how old he is.
Yeah.
We then see it is a month later and the family is settling in. Wendy brings breakfast for Jack while Danny rides his tricycle throughout the hotel. I mean, it's like 11:30 and Jack is getting breakfast in bed like a king. What do you have to complain about?
I would probably want to sleep in a little longer.
He's like, well, I guess I should probably start work. My man.
On what?
It's 11th on his book, but I mean,
right.
Yeah, he's
right. But you know, throughout the entire thing, he kind of like keeps freaking out about how he's got work to do and his like people, his bosses and everything. But he just seems like a free write. You know, not like no deadline, just needed to write this book. But it kind of makes it sound like there's like duties within the hotel that he has to upkeep. Yeah.
I mean, there's stuff he's supposed to do, but it does. I understand what you're saying. Like, it feels like he's really like, I have to do a good job. And the dude told him, bro, you fix stuff as it breaks. You keep an eye on the place. It's not that hard.
You basically live there for free.
You basically live there for free. And they have, he said you could eat something different every night of the week for a year and never eat the same thing. Like, yeah, man.
I mean, I would go through those cans of like fruit. The cans of fruit. She was pouring that out. I was mad jealous. I was like, oh, I was thinking about it. I was like, maybe I should buy some cans of fruit.
Pour that in a bowl, and the bowl just goes with me.
Yes. I would eat that like a dog. I don't need a spoon. I'm gonna eat all the cherries first.
Oh, yeah. Because they're far and few between. Always the grapes. And the grapes are always like succulent. Like, yes. Definitely.
Oh, man, I want some of that now.
Yeah, me too. I love that stuff. So Wendy talks to Jack about his writing and how nice it is. I'm sorry. She talks to him about his writing and also how nice it is at the place that they are. Jack said that he loves it at the hotel and how he felt it as soon as he got there, like that he's been there before and that he knew what was going to be around the corner. Like when he came for his interview, he knew exactly what it was going to be and everything like that.
I'd just like to mention that I picked that up Okay, and I want to say this: I like that I read into movies, and that I'm someone who watches carefully for things.
Sure.
And this movie had a lot to watch for, you know, especially
Yes.
with the environment. There's so much going on in the environment that you could watch that alone and still see. And I love that there were little details like on the board or whatever. It'd be like, oh, from Wednesdays 7 to 9, gold ballrooms open, type stuff like that. And it's very nice to me. But I didn't. This when he said that, I was like, okay. So obviously you have talk about like the Shining stuff, the negative thing, you get the ghost girls and the room tour. So there's always, you know, obviously supernatural stuff going on here.
Yeah.
So it's not completely unlikely that something's going on with him as well.
Right.
But I really didn't understand that part of the movie. Where it follows along, and you know, at the end with the picture.
We'll get to that.
I know. I just want to say I want to mark that out now because it's not like there's not a really good time to bring things up with this movie.
Yeah.
To complain about things, but that was one of the I just didn't understand that.
We'll talk about it. Yeah. That's one of the layers. One of the onions. So trust me, dude. When I'm sitting over here like, oh, that's one of it. I had to research to try and understand.
Okay, that's my second point. If I'm watching a movie, I feel like I shouldn't have to research to understand the movie.
Well, it's Kubrick. And so he did that on purpose. He made this movie like that on purpose. He wanted people to walk out and be like, get into family arguments. Like, he's happy to think about you arguing with somebody else being like, no, that can't be. It's this. It's
right,
that.
But if
like,
you and I go to watch this movie and we both leave and we're like, I really just don't know what we just watched.
Yeah.
That's not going to spawn an argument between us. That's just, I don't know what I just watched.
That's fair.
You know, it'd be different if I was like, oh, well, movie ends. Maybe he was, you know, back in the thing and maybe he like resurrected and blah, blah, blah. And then you're like, no, I think he's actually just a ghost and blah, blah, blah. And that's just how it is. And then we argue about that. Okay, yes. If I have fair evidence for both sides. Yeah. But in this movie, I ended it and I was just like, what? What? I was confused.
I got you.
That's not good for me.
Okay.
So I just want to put that out there.
We'll talk about it.
I like putting evidence, like little small little, what is it? What is that saying? Drips of doubt. Pellets of doubt.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, I'm just putting in little something of, hint. Hint?
No, it's like something of doubt in the mind.
I know what you're talking about, but
planting doubt.
Seeds of doubt.
Yep, seeds of doubt. Thank you.
There we go. So we then see a typewriter with a blank sheet of paper in it while Jack throws a handball. Wendy and Danny go into the hedge maze, to check it out, and it made me think of the ending of Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire when I was watching it. I was like, oh, hey, look at this.
Cedric's just hanging out.
Yeah, Diggory's in there like, hey, they killed me. Take my body back. I said take my body back.
I thought it was weird that he was throwing the ball at the wall. Yeah. Because you could definitely scuff the walls up.
You would think.
Yeah.
Yep, it'd put little circle reference on there, but hey, whatever, he doesn't care.
And he was like just randomly throwing it. You're going to hit like a lamp or something. I thought he was going to. And then my second question is like, have you ever wanted to have one of the typewriter things?
I did a long time ago. A very, very long time ago.
I don't really like them.
They hurt my fingers.
Yeah, I know. I like how they sound.
I want to say I didn't have one. Correction, or maybe I did. I know that I used one in school when I was in school, but I don't know that I had.
We used one in school. They showed us, and they were like, "Oh," but I didn't like how you could take the ink back out of the paper to a degree, like when you wanted a backspace.
Oh, and it would go like that. And
I didn't like that you could do that.
Like undoing your word.
It makes sense to me.
Yeah. So Jack continues to procrastinate writing, and we get a cool visual of him looking at the miniature of the hedge maze that's in the lobby, and then Wendy and Danny reaching the center of it, almost like he was looking down at them. And this part made me think of the beginning scene of Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
So I was like...
It didn't make me think of that.
My mind is all over the place.
Made me think that he had problems. I was like, oh, so this is where Danny gets his stuff from.
You're right on that. Yes.
Yeah.
Which is why, yes. So, see, you get it.
I understood why. I understood that part of it.
Yeah.
I didn't understand the other part of it.
I got you. So the screen flashes to tell us that it's Tuesday, and Wendy is preparing dinner. The fruit. Yum, yum.
Oh my gosh, I would have eaten the heck out of that.
That's all I would have eaten.
It seemed like that's all that she made, too.
It's I would have been like, thank you, Mom. She's like, 45-minute meal. And all she did was open the can and pour the fruit in the bowl.
And I
And
would have
I'm
been
still
so
happy about
happy.
it.
I would
I'm
have
like,
been
this is
so
good for me.
happy. Wagging my tail type. I would have been grapes, yum.
So the news is telling of a snowstorm that is coming their way. Denny continues to ride his tricycle through the hotel and comes past room 237. He stops and stares at it for a minute and then decides to try the doorknob. No.
Yeah, no.
So at this point, I'm all, you get what you get. That Dick told you to stay away from it. You should know. If you're going to go toward, that's on you. He once again gets a flash of the two little girls and then rides off again.
Yeah, I was kind of confused with this. So you get invited to go to a hotel.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much watch after the hotel, make sure everything's good, but some of the rooms are locked.
All of the rooms are locked. That's the whole point. Yeah, it's the whole entire hotel should be shut down and everything like that. They've got power on and everything like that. But yeah, as far as the rooms are, they're all locked and shut up, ready for the next guests in the spring.
Oh, see, I thought it was like, here's the keys, just look after the place.
No, they shouldn't. That room should not be open. So, and I know in the book he goes after him a little bit harder, I think, but whatever. So we hear Jack typing away on the typewriter as if he has something good going.
Oh, it was
like he's
and the music's all dramatic too.
Yeah, so I'm like, all right, so he's on his book. He's on his book game. Wendy comes in to talk to him and ask how it's going, and he rips the paper out of the typewriter.
He gets real dramatic about it too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jack seems to be a bit annoyed with Wendy and explains to her that when she interrupts him, it breaks his concentration.
Yeah, I wouldn't say just a bit annoyed.
Yeah. He then lectures her and gives her a new rule that if he's in there typing, no matter what he's doing, not typing, whatever, you leave him alone.
F-bombs, lots of F-bombs.
Oh yes. He's all I'm saying is he wasn't happy with her.
No, he wasn't happy with her at all. And she just seemed vacant.
Yeah. Okay.
I would say he would have said that and I would have gone and cried and been like, I gotta get out of this relationship. He's gonna start beating me next.
What a lonely life for her, though. I mean, I don't know that she really thought about that on her side of it.
Like a mouse.
Like what she thought she was going to be doing the whole time there. They're not cleaning. They're not doing this. Is she just prepping meals and cleaning their apartment stuff? Because literally, that's all she's got going on. Danny's off riding his tricycle all day. Danny's off riding. Jack is writing his book. What does she have going on? Just, that's very sad.
Maybe I would have started writing too.
Yeah.
I would have started a new hobby or something. Started drawing or something.
I would have done something, but not annoyed him.
Oh, yeah, no, I wouldn't have been around him the entire time.
We then see that it's Thursday and that the snowstorm has arrived. Wendy and Danny play outside in the snow while Jack sits apparently watching them.
He was not looking too good.
He looks a little mad.
He looks a little crazy. Little, and he looks like that anyways, but this time it looked
No, but his face
good.
looks like, I want to kill him.
Yeah, that is what that, yeah.
By Saturday, the storm is rolling on, and Jack continues to type. Wendy is trying the phone lines, but they seem to be down. She goes and uses the ham radio and calls the Forest Service. They advise that due to the storm, the lines won't be back up until spring.
That guy seemed a little too happy to be talking to her.
I think that he's probably lonely too.
No, I guess, but he was like, "Oh, hello, Miss Wendy."
Yeah, I agree. He advises to leave the radio on at all times for safety reasons, which, okay.
Yeah, I probably would have had it on anyways.
I would have too. So Danny continues to ride his tricycle and runs into the two girls who ask him to come and play with them.
Forever and ever.
Yep.
And ever.
He catches flashes of them all chopped up with an axe and they say, come play with him forever and ever. And ever.
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed that. This, though, not to jump ahead too much.
Yeah.
But Jack says that too. He says something. I can't remember what he said. He's like, we're going to stay in this hotel forever and ever and ever.
I want to. Yep. He said it the same exact way.
That way.
You're absolutely right. When he's got him on his lap, he's talking to him.
Or parallels, yeah.
Parallels.
Yeah, and then there's sort of flashing of them being all chopped up.
Yeah,
horrible.
It sure did. So he covers his eyes and the images go away. He talks to Tony and says he is scared, but Tony says that it's fake and it isn't real. Then it is Monday, and Danny and Wendy are watching television. Danny asks Wendy if he can go to his room to get a toy, but Wendy says that Jack is asleep. He begs to go, and she says, all right. Danny goes to the room to get the toy and tries to be very quiet, but finds Jack is awake sitting on the bed. Creepily.
Creepy, yeah. And then he's all like, no, come here first.
Yeah. Yep, Danny asks if he can go get his toy, but Jack calls him in. He hugs Danny up, calling him Doc, and asks how's it going. They have a real awkward exchange, and Jack tells Danny that he can't sleep, even though he's very tired. Jack also tells Danny that he wishes that they could stay in the hotel forever and ever and ever. Mm-hmm. And that's the part that you were talking about. So if I was Danny, I'd be all, I want to go home.
Yeah, and he did look like that. He looked like he hated the exchange.
The whole interaction.
He looked like he was awful.
He looked like, man, am I about to get jerked up?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Danny then asked Jack if he would ever hurt him or Wendy. This seems to trigger Jack a bit, but he tells Danny that he loves him and would never hurt him. Because he's like, did your mother say that? Did your mother tell you to ask it? It's like, no, man, I'm just asking.
Yeah, but your kids aren't asking that. I'd be kind of like, dang, why are you going to ask if I'm going to hurt you?
I guess I would.
You want me to hurt you?
Yeah. So it is then Wednesday and Danny is playing with his cars. A ball rolls down the hall to him and Danny thinks it is his mom.
Dude, I would have had so much fun with those cars.
Oh yeah, they're magnetic too and everything.
We used to have a lot of like Hot Wheels, and especially did you see how the carpet was laid out? It looked like a little like
a little road.
Yep. And I would have had so much fun with that.
Yep. He calls out to his mom and goes look and finds that room 237 is open. He goes in to look while Wendy is down in the electrical room doing checks. She hears what sounds like a scream and goes to look and finds Jack passed out on his desk having a terrible nightmare. It was pretty strong too because when he wakes up, he's freaked out. Like he jumps out the chair and everything. He's like looking at her like, huh. He's got like, I just woke up out of a nightmare phase. Mm-hmm. He says he was having a nightmare that he killed Wendy and Danny by cutting them up into little pieces.
Yeah, I didn't, and that, like, okay, if my husband said that to me, I'm getting out of there. I'm going to say, oh, yeah. And then I'm going to call you. I'm going to call mom. I'm going to call the little ranger boys. And be like, get me a car up here pronto. I need to go get some milk. And never return.
Right. I'm going to go out for some cigarettes and never come back.
I mean, that's just horrible. You hear that? And that's like one of the biggest red flags I've ever heard. I had a dream. I killed you. And then not only that, but I chopped you up into little bits. Yeah. Ha, 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 ha. Love you. No.
Right, especially this dude that's already gone off on me in some like wicked ways.
Yeah.
He's obviously got problems. He's not doing well. So at this point, I figured they'd probably been there a month, and now this is going, or at least a month or two. Mm-hmm. And this is going on into a week because it started with the storm was coming. It was like Tuesday, and now this is Wednesday of the next week. So that's kind of a time frame that I was looking at. So wherever we are, we've been there for a while, but I don't know how much it matters, but it just whatever.
Did you look how long cabin fever takes to set in?
Cabin fever can set in. Think about in The Thing. They thought that stuff could set in like a couple weeks. Because remember, that's what they said. Why would they be chasing the dog and going all crazy?
Yeah, but I think that was different. That's not cabin fever. That's something that's chasing after you and you don't trust nobody.
No, he literally said they must have had cabin fever. That's why, because when he's getting sewn up and he talks to him, he asks the doc and he says, why do you think they did all that? He's like, I don't know. Maybe they had cabin fever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Did it say how long it took to set in?
A couple weeks.
Oh.
Dude, something like that. I mean, think about, people get that when like there's a hurricane and you have to be stuck in your home for a couple days, and people will be, as soon as they gotta get out, man. I mean, this whole COVID thing, people had a real hard time with it. It's caused a lot of people problems because of just being stuck in their house like they were. Not me.
I'm pretty housebound. So I'm pretty good.
I mean, it was just life. I'm like, well, we got to do how I live. Oh, okay. So anyway, as she's trying to tend to Jack, Danny comes in and is all roughed up with a torn sweater. He's sucking his thumb and has marks all over his neck. He's basically catatonic.
And he's all torn up.
Yeah.
Well, like his sweater's all torn.
Yep.
Didn't know if you just said that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So Wendy immediately blames Jack for hurting Danny.
Which was strange to me.
And Jack is dumbfounded. He's like...
Yeah, he actually, he looked genuinely, he looked as confused as I did at this claim. Because I was like, why is that your first thought?
Because he had done it before.
Yes, right. Yes, but you were with him just then while he was sleeping. He was actively asleep. The kid comes around after you've been with him. The time for... And then my first thought isn't going to be that. It's going to be like, oh, did something fall on you? Did you hit your neck on something? What happened? Because he was all... I mean, I just... My first thought isn't going to be you beat him up or you choked him out.
I don't know. I guess... I mean, I see where her view of it is that maybe he beat him and then went down and had a nap. Had a nightmare. And then she puts 2 and 2 together that, oh, he had a dream about killing us, and, oh, lo and behold, he just beat the heck out of him. So...
Yeah, I don't know. So,
later that night, Jack is walking the halls of the hotel flipping out. Like, he's walking just like...
I mean, I'd be mad, too. Did you see how she picked him up, though? How she picked Danny up?
No.
She picked him up like he was a stiff doll.
Did he?
Because she started running with him, and he was all stiff, and was maybe thinking of the Chucky doll. But,
no, I didn't notice.
But yeah, I mean, I'd be kind of mad too, you know, throwing things. I'd be like, because, okay, was it wrong that he beat him, like, gripped up by accident in the first place?
Yes.
That sucks. Sorry. But I'd be kind of mad too if I promised that, you know, I was like, okay, that was a mistake, and it's been, you know, 3 years since then.
5 months.
No. Oh, yeah. I thought when at the bar he was like, it's been 2 years since that. Whatever. Oh, okay. Well, I don't know, if I was all like, I'm sorry, you know, I'm still here, I'm gonna do better, and you wouldn't let me forget it, I'd be like, well, maybe we just need to go separate paths.
Yeah.
Divorce.
Yeah. So he comes to the gold ballroom and goes to the bar. He's seemingly looking for alcohol and says he would sell his soul for a glass of beer. He then opens his eyes, and there's a man there called Lloyd. He's like, hey, Lloyd.
Start seeing things, and that's not good.
No, the bar is also now stocked as well. Did you notice that?
Yeah, I did.
The alcohol was all fully stocked behind it. The man pours a drink for Jack, and Jack knocks it back after being on the wagon for 5 months. Lloyd asks how things are going, and Jack tells him things could be a whole lot better. They discuss the situation with Wendy and how she is giving him heck. Jack tells that he didn't hurt Danny, but that Wendy is convinced that he did. He tells Lloyd about how he did hurt him once due to his messing up his papers. Wendy comes in and finds Jack and tells him there's a crazy woman in one of the rooms.
Yeah, she was very distraught.
And that she tried to strangle Danny. So now she's all like, oh, I need you. And it's like, oh, bro, you just accused me of some madness.
Yeah. But also, if I'm coming up trying to look for you and I hear you talking to yourself, I'm gonna be a little I'm gonna keep walking.
Right. I like how she's running with the bat. She's like, I have no time for this.
Yeah, that stupid bat. It didn't look like it was gonna do any harm to anybody. No. It looked like the worst bat possible.
It did. It looked like a kid bat. Mm-hmm. So, which it probably was. Probably Danny's bat.
Oh, yeah.
So, Jack asks which room it was. He then finds Dick Halloran. We then find Dick Halloran down in Miami watching the news in his bedroom. He then gets a psychic message from Danny, it seems, about what is going on in room 237. So Jack goes to room 237 and searches and finds a woman in the bathtub.
An entire naked woman. Horrible. I was watching this, I was like, bruh.
I was wondering, I was going to say, he's pretty smitten because she's pretty nude. So
very nude.
Fully nude.
Fully nude, yeah, and like completely out there, but no.
Everything.
I was not having a good time.
She comes to him and they start to kiss. As they do, Jack looks in the reflection of the mirror and sees that the woman is all old and decrepit.
It's a whole nother naked lady, but now it's the old naked lady, and it's even worse because she's all decaying naked lady. You know, I was like, man.
She starts to laugh at him and steps as he steps backwards out of the room. She's just all ha 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 ha, which was creepy all in itself. So Dick tries to call up the hotel, but the lines are down, so he can't get through. Jack comes and tells Wendy that he didn't find anything, which is just a great big lie. I guess that it would have been tough to be like, yeah, I went in there and there was a woman in there, but I don't think she's real or she's decrepit or whatever. But maybe, you know, that's what gels the family. Hey, our son is psychic and has problems, and so do I. So let's be a family. So I don't know. That's just what I was thinking.
Just not having a good time with it.
So Jack talks to Wendy about how the door was open and the lights were on in 237. So he knows it was the right room that Danny was talking about, but there was no one there. She asks about the bruises on his neck, but Jack says he thinks they were self-inflicted. So Danny is able to hear this and keeps seeing a flash of the word red rum. Wendy says that they need to get Danny out of there, but Jack is like, yeah, no dice.
No, he starts flipping out. But he's like, you want to leave? No, no, no. Angry.
Right. I like how he can flip on a dime, dude.
Oh, yeah. No, he had problems.
No, I think that it's just, and he's like, no, it's just like crazy. And I'm just like, man, I love this guy. His acting is just.
Oh, no, his acting was great. Yeah, the acting was great. Him as a person in that movie, though, Jack as a person, terrible person.
So Danny is also seeing the blood flow out of the elevator again.
Yeah, still don't understand that. Don't understand that.
Jack leaves pissed and goes to the kitchen, roughing the place up. He can hear a noise that sounds like music in the distance and comes upon the hallway filled with balloons and streamers. Not concerned about this.
Stressed.
So Dick gets a hold of the Forest Service and asks about the phone lines being down, and they confirm that they are. He asks if they'll call up on the radio, and the service agrees to. Meanwhile, Jack goes into the gold ballroom again, which is now 100% filled with partygoers.
Yeah, he's got his hallucinations just worsen. There's like hundreds of people in that room, and everything's there's so much going on in the background. Like the interactions and everything going on. Oh, dude, it was crazy.
So Jack doesn't even hesitate to it. He's all, oh, okay. He says he was away for a while, but now he is back and happy to be so. He has another drink, and this time he has money.
$1. I don't know if you saw that, because last time he was like, I got a 20 in my bill.
Yeah,
two 20s and a 10.
He was saying that he had money before and he didn't have any. Yes. Now he did have some, which was weird.
It was $1.
Oh. Lloyd didn't take it.
No.
Jack says he wants to know who's buying his drinks, but Lloyd says it doesn't matter, just drink up. So Jack gets drinks spilled on him by the butler when he stands up, because he's like, all right, I'll just go with it. So,
Avo something.
What?
The drink was called like Avo something. It
was
avocado something.
It was a weird. I think there's egg in it, to tell you the truth. I or something like that. It's
That's disgusting.
Yeah. Either way, I don't know, but I just know that the butler was like, well, we got to clean you up. So the butler goes into the bathroom with him to clean him up. He asks him his name, and he tells him his name is Delbert Grady. Not Charles Grady, but Delbert Grady. That's important. And you're looking at me like, why is that important?
I didn't even pick that up.
So Jack asks if he has seen him somewhere else before, but he says he doesn't believe so. He asks if Grady was once the caretaker here, but he says no. Jack says that Grady was the caretaker here and tells him what he did regarding his family, but he says he has no memory of that at all. And it's like, okay. But Grady says that Jack is the caretaker and that he has always been the caretaker. Jack seems perplexed, but I guess he just goes with it again.
Yeah, and this little interaction made my thing earlier where he was all like, well, in every turn I just knew what was gonna be there. It made more sense. I wasn't concluding what it was gonna end up being with him.
I got you.
And I still I just don't understand.
Yeah.
It's just so weird.
So Grady also tells Jack that Danny is trying to contact Dick Halloran psychically and that he needs to be dealt with. Jack once again blames Wendy for interfering in Jack's life, so Grady suggests they need to be corrected. He says that he corrected his family as well when they needed to be. And I'm like, I assume corrected means killed in
chopped up, yeah. Chopped up and dead. So
Wendy is trying to come up with a way to leave the hotel when she hears Danny freaking out, yelling red rum. Wendy goes to him, but ends up having a conversation with Tony, who tells Wendy that Danny cannot wake up and that he has gone away. So it's like...
Yeah, you know what? Again, if this was my kid, you're just going to I'm just going to leave. I'm just sorry. No. There's a line. And nice. I'm drawing it at, wake up. No, Tony's here. Tony's here right now. He can't come to the road. No! I'm going to smack you up.
Oh, jeez.
Wake up.
Poor kid.
Wake up.
The poor kid.
How are you reacting to that? You go in your kid's room, and that's what's going on. Red rum, red rum.
You sound like him. That's pretty good. I don't know what I would do, man. Again, as much as I don't like Wendy, I feel for her in these moments, because what do? You can't go to your husband because he's clearly off his rocker and not happy with you. Your son's in a catatonic, weird state. You're in the middle of nowhere. You have no way of doing anything. You're just stuck, man. And that's a really horrible place to be in. So.
I agree.
So. Meanwhile, Jack is walking the halls and hears the Forest Service calling on the radio. Instead of answering, he takes it apart and pulls out what I guess are batteries or transistors or something so that it doesn't work anymore.
It was interesting that he knew to do that, though.
Well, he knew to pull parts out.
Yeah, because at first I thought he was just going to slam it around and destroy it.
I thought so too.
But he pulled those 3 specific things out.
Yep.
Like, he just knew that that's how it worked. And that was interesting to me.
It's not working anymore.
No.
So Dick calls back to the Forest Service to ask for an update, and they advise that they could not reach the people at the hotel. So now it says it's 8 a.m. on some day, whatever day that it is. And Dick is on a plane heading to Denver to get back to the hotel. Jack continues to type on the typewriter, seemingly writing something pretty intensely. So Dick asks his friend if he can set him up for getting a snowcat to go up to the hotel. And his friend Larry says that he can. He makes up a BS story saying, oh, the people turned out not to be good people and I have to go up there and check and everything like that.
Technically, it wasn't a bad story. I mean, it's kind of true.
Technically, it is kind of true. You're right. But it's not people, it's just person. But so Dick rents a car to get there and says it will take about 5 hours to get to where the snowcat's going to be that he's going to rent from the guy Larry. Wendy and Danny sit watching cartoons, but Danny is still unresponsive. Of course, Tony responds, which makes Wendy not pleased.
Yeah, at this point, I'm like, my kid's been possessed by the demons. The little boy in the mouth taking over, and my kid's gone. I'm going to leave.
Yeah, you can stay here with Crazy Daddy. Wendy goes to talk with Jack, but he is not at the typewriter. She decides to look at what he's been writing and finds that it's all the same sentence over and over. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy.
Yes.
And
that was very creepy.
Yeah, it's not just the paper and the typewriter. It's literally like an entire stack of sentences typed over and over in all kinds of different ways.
But you know what was interesting to me? It kind of looked like he was actually writing something.
Yes, and I thought the same thing as well. And good catch. Very good catch. It had paragraphs, it had sentences, it had different structure. Sizes.
It wasn't the same thing over and over again, like somebody took it and put it on a printer and copy and pasted it.
Right.
It was different every time. Like dialogue parts and then like little, like it looked like a
screenplay almost.
Yeah. Well, the little parts where it goes in is when authors will put in like poems.
Yeah.
Or
dialogue.
No, dialogue is if it's like a little indent, and then you can tell it's like shorter. But that it's like a box. And then you have a paragraph like over here, and then a smaller box in the middle, and that's where they put like poems, or like if you find a note, and then they'll put like what the note said on there.
Okay.
So that was interesting to me, because I was trying to figure out what he was writing.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a poem book, because otherwise it'd be a whole lot more of those, and it wouldn't be as much thing.
Right.
But it looked like an actual story, and that was so interesting. I like that about that part.
Yeah, me too. I thought that was really cool, because it looked like he's literally been writing an entire thing, but just the same sentence over and over.
Yes.
So in his mind, is he writing something different?
Right.
It's just
crazy.
So Wendy is pretty convinced he has lost it.
Yeah, and I would be too.
Yeah. Jack comes in and finds her looking through the paper and asks, how does she like it? How do you like it?
Oh my gosh. I would have just peed.
Yeah. And that would have been a very appropriate on-screen reaction, I think, if she had just piddled right there. She is visibly shaken by her findings and his presence, and says she just wanted to talk to him, but can't remember what she wanted to talk about.
I would have been like, your book's really good, though. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Danny can see this going on psychically, but he is once again getting the bloody elevator vision as well. So I like that he can kind of hear the conversations going on. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Jack is talking about what should be done with Danny. Wendy thinks he should be taken to the doctor and is telling this to Jack, who is mocking every word she says.
Yeah, maybe think that he should be taken to the doctor. You maybe think that. Yeah. He's like, God.
I maybe think. Like, he's doing the whole everything. Mm-hmm. So Jack goes off on her about how his job and how he has responsibilities to take care of the hotel and everything like that. He signed a contract and everything like that. Wendy tells Jack to stay away from her. And he tells her that he's going to bash her brains in. Yeah. And that's putting it politely of how he says it.
Honestly, if I'm backing up, she's in a bad position, backing up the stairs.
Up.
Yeah, backing up the stairs. But if you're going to tell me that you're going to bash my brains right the F in, I'm not going to give you my bat. Right. I'm not going to give you my only weapon. Right. And then she bonks him on the head.
You didn't let me finish my sentence. Did you hear what I said? I don't want to just kill you.
I don't want to hurt you, Wendy.
I don't want to hurt you. Yeah. And
I just want to bash your brains in. bash him right the F in.
Yep. Yeah.
Give me the bat.
Give me the bat. Give me the bat. Give me the bat.
Stop swinging.
Give me the bat.
Stop swinging. Ow. Bonk.
Yep. So he tells her to give him the bat and stop swinging, but it continues to pursue her. So she swings it, hits his hand first, and then hits him in the head, knocking him down the stairs.
Yep.
So she drags him into the storage locker with the food and locks him in.
I would have gotten the cans of fruit out first, but whatever.
Yeah.
We're not perfect.
We see that his ankle seems to be hurt as well. And poor Wendy is at a loss with her mental state at this point. Like, she's a broken woman, which, fair.
What are you going to do? Yeah. My kid's on the rocks. My husband's on the rocks.
Yeah, everybody's
Am
mad.
I on the rocks?
Jack tries to play on her feelings for him, but she stays strong and has zero time for his BS. She's like, no. She says she's going to try to go down the mountain in the Sidewinder and will bring back a doctor for him. Jack tells Wendy she has a big surprise coming to her and go check the radio in the snowcat. So Wendy does and finds that it's been sabotaged. We then find that Jack is sleeping in the storage room. And you see he had like little snacks and stuff that he had been eating, like crackers and everything like that. I was like, I like that dog. You're locked up in the club, but
I'd be hungry.
You're going to go ahead and get a snack on. I appreciate that. So he gets awoken by a knock at the door. It's Delbert Grady, who agrees to open the door for Jack if he is willing to take care of the business they discussed. Jack says there is nothing that he looks forward to more than taking care of them, being Wendy and Danny, and he gives his word that he will follow through. Did you have something to say?
No.
Oh, I thought you had something. I'm sorry. So the door opens, and he's freed. We then see Dick and the Snowcat coming up the mountain to get to the hotel. So he's getting closer. He had about a 3-hour drive, I think is what he said it was, or an hour and a half, whatever it was.
5 hours.
Well, 5 hour in the car to get to the Snowcat, and then the Snowcat to the hotel was like 3 hours, I think, but it doesn't really matter. Danny is still saying red rum and takes the knife and writes the message in lipstick on the door.
I thought he was going to murk the mom out.
For a second there, that's what I thought too. He keeps saying red rum and gets louder, yelling, and he wakes Wendy. Wendy sees the message in the mirror and it says murder. We then see Jack knocking away at the door with an axe. Like, he's coming at it, man.
Yeah.
Wendy puts Danny out the window, but she's too big to get out herself. Thankfully, there's a snowdrift against the building, so Danny is able to slide down. And I want to slide down that every time that I see it. That would be so fun to slide down that snow. I don't care. I think it would be... Whee!
Yeah, it'd be fun. It'd be cool. I wouldn't be able to fit out the window.
Nah, me.
But also, I would have kicked the window in.
Thank you. I'm not trying to keep things nice. I'm beating the heck out of that window and getting out the window. Thank you very much for that. Yeah. So, Jack comes to the bathroom and starts to hack it down. Did you see? I loved the camera work in this because it actually went back with the axe as he swung and then swung forward. It was like, pow.
Oh, yeah.
Pow. And I'm like, that's so cool because it really makes you feel it in the movie.
They made a mistake during this part, though. I don't know if you noticed. But he's hacking away at the one square. And there was a scene where they show back at him in the door, and both squares are gone. Right. Yeah.
Nothing's perfect.
Nothing's perfect.
So, this is the iconic "Here's Johnny" scene, which is also on the posters.
I thought he said it's Johnny.
He says, "Here's Johnny," while he's looking through the door. So,
because the funny just because I want to make sure, because I was watching it because I thought it was the "Here's Johnny," but then I watched it and I swear he said something else. And I was like, oh, is it not this?
No,
because I felt the same way when I was watching Star Wars, and I thought he was like, Luke, I am your father. But he said something else.
He says, "Here's Johnny."
Okay, well.
If you want to look it up, fine.
I mean, I was just like, Cause I know what he's.
And it's referencing, you don't know Johnny Carson. But the Johnny Carson show, that's what they would say at the beginning of it. Dick Clark would say, not Dick Clark. I can't think of the guy's name, but he would say, "And here's Johnny," and Johnny Carson would come out and tell his jokes and everything like that. So
yeah, no, I was just watching it. I can't remember, but I guess yeah.
All right.
He had said the mom thing, and I was like, oh.
So Wendy's cowering in the corner with the knife in hand, screaming, and slashes at Jack, causing him to retract when he reaches in to unlock the door. So
gross.
Dick finally reaches the hotel, and Jack and Wendy both hear the snowcat arriving. Danny is running through the hotel and hides in the kitchen, so he came back inside, which I guess I would come back inside, but I don't know. Jack is looking for him, and Wendy realizes that she needs to find Danny. I like how she, like, you kind of saw it play out in her head. Like, she's like, crap, he left me. Danny's out there by herself. I gotta go find Danny. Like, I appreciated that.
Yeah, I don't know if I would have moved.
So then Mr. Halloran comes into the hotel, and he's, like, calling out. He's like, hello?
I don't think I would be doing that either.
Right. Jack hears him, and it just comes out of nowhere and puts an axe right in his chest, like right in his heart. Pretty much all that for nothing as far as he is concerned.
Chops him out.
Like,
Chops him out.
You spend 8 hours on a flight, 5 hours in a car, 3 hours in the snowcat, and you get back and you get an axe right in the heart.
They basically did that just so that they would have another way for the mom to exit. It was just the way to bring up the snowcat.
I feel that. That's a good, you know what, that's...
Because he really didn't have any other point.
Yeah, no
had
other
he
point.
had, like, if he had an interaction with Danny, and was like, Danny, go hide in this thing. I'm gonna go find your mom. This, and that other. And had he been like, more. Because if had that happened, and then he was more sneaky, and then there was like a fight, and then he died, I would have been like, okay. But he literally just shows up and then dies.
Yep.
So no.
Like 2 minutes into it, he gets
really
an axe in the chest. So Danny sees this psychically and screams out. So Jack is completely gone at this point. Like, he hears Danny. And so he's like, there you are. So Danny comes out of hiding and Jack chases him. Wendy is looking for Danny and can hear voices in the distance. And this is when things really start going kabuki.
Yeah, and I really just didn't like this about this movie, okay? And, I say this a lot when the movies add in just too many layers for me.
Yeah.
And this is one of them. She goes up the stairs because she's hearing things. And I'm going, oh, it's the demons. And then she looks into this room. Yeah. And I'm like, what? And I want you to just look at my notes, okay?
Yeah.
Chops the chef up.
Yeah.
Demons? Look how many question marks I put.
Right. Expletive.
I said.
She looks in one of the rooms and sees something going on with a furry and a man.
What even was that? What? Is that a bear? No, I mean, what?
I don't even want to go down the path.
What was the point of that? You did a lot of research. Can you just tell me what that meant?
I can. We'll come back to it. Let's finish this, and I'll tell you what people allude to with that. Okay.
It was just the worst. And what were they doing? Horrible things.
It was not a good scene. Things weren't going on well in that room.
Poor Wendy. If I hadn't lost my cat and caboodle yet, they're gone. Both the cat and the caboodle gone after I see that. I'm just gonna go back down the stairs. I'm gonna take the knife. I'm just gonna kill myself. I'm seeing that, and I'm not replying. Yeah, no. Sorry. I
was waiting for you to say that because normally that comes at some point in time.
That would have done it for me. I would have just been like, well,
the guy in the bear suit does it for you, huh?
It looked at her.
It didn't have a backside.
They didn't see her. No, the butt was out. Yeah, have some decency at least. It was like one of those like suits where the buttons and you can release the buttons. Yeah. They didn't know she was there. She goes up real quietly. She's not saying anything. Or I guess she was like, Danny? But she didn't do that. She looks in, sees them on there, and then they pause. And then they lean forward. And look back. And look at her. I would have just started crying.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, it's been fun.
So meanwhile, Danny leads Jack out into the snow and into the hedge maze. Danny is booking it through as, like, he seems to know every twist and turn of this thing.
Oh, yeah.
While Jack walks slowly, yelling for him, tracing his footsteps in the snow.
So this made me think, so we get the scene where he walks through it with the mom. So
yep.
How many times must they have done that? You get bored, so you're like, oh, well, let's go through the maze. Try to see if we can beat our time. So because he knew this well enough that he'd go in and out the same direction.
I think his ability helped with him a bit.
True.
As well as having done it once and knowing which way and everything like that. So to lead him into the center and then to be able to get out himself, I think.
Well, he pulled a 1,000 IQ play on the dad.
Yeah, he did.
He was super smart.
Poor Wendy, unfortunately, is back at the hotel and finds Dick dead on the floor. She also sees a dead man who tells her it's a great party, isn't it? Which freaks her out.
Yeah, and again, I didn't understand this because she sees all the skeletons in the room and everything.
The hotel is in full force at this point.
It looks like it's going horrible for her.
Yep. She comes into the lobby And at this point, it's filled with skeletons and cobwebs everywhere. So Danny smartly retraces his steps backwards and hides in the hedge, leading Jack astray. Wendy sees the elevator open and the blood comes pouring out, just as Danny had said that, or had seen. So that comes to fruition.
That is why, though.
Right. After Jack passes him, Danny is able to make it back out of the hedge maze, leaving Jack lost inside. Unfortunately, Jack is really lost to madness at this point, and he's screaming incoherently. Like,
it almost sounded like he's saying Wendy, though.
He was saying Wendy as well, because he was saying everything, but he's just lost it. So Wendy is outside looking for Danny and finds him, and they get into the snowcat and escape. So thank you, Mr. Halloween.
Yeah, thank you for your sacrifice.
The next day, we find that Jack has frozen to death in the maze with a really creepy looking face.
Oh, yeah.
His face is just, his eyes are all rolled up and everything like that. It just still looks angry. But that's not the end. We hear the music playing in the distance from a ballroom, and we zoom in on a picture that says July 4th party from 1921. And who is in the picture front and center? Jack. And then we fade to black. So, we'll do this part first. What are your overall thoughts on the film and everything like that, the experience?
I said I literally do not understand. The movie was going... Okay. The movie was going fine with me.
Yeah.
Watching some guy go crazy. It wasn't scary.
Okay.
I'll put that out there. It wasn't a scary movie. He was creepy and a little scary, but it wasn't scary. At no point in this movie was I scared.
Okay.
And then it was kind of like it was the person who wrote this was writing it good and was like, yeah, okay, and they were like, okay, how do we tie everything together and end it? And it was almost like they just threw the keyboard and said, well, we'll just go with this, because I really just don't understand how any of that made sense. I understand getting like the fact that Wendy and Danny escaped.
Yeah,
Danny made sense with the way he went out. That was fine.
Yeah.
If it was something like Amityville Horror House, well, you know, the one with Ryan Reynolds?
Yeah.
And he goes all crazy in the axe thing?
Yeah.
Okay, if it was like that, fine. You know, you're going crazy and then you can escape and it's fine. That's fine with me. Okay? But there were levels to this that just didn't make sense to me. You got the weird bear thing, first of all. Then you got the skeletons and the demons.
Right.
And the damn blood in the elevator thing. And no.
So... You understand how you have the two people that have the same name, what's his name? The Grady. Remember I said that the names were different?
Yeah, but
he told the story of Charles Grady, but he says the other guy's name is something else Grady.
Okay.
Delbert Grady.
Delbert.
Okay. What if this is also messing with time? So the hotel can actually shift them between time, which is how you had the party. So he was really at that party when it was going on. So that's one theory that it goes through time. That's how the skeletons were all of a sudden there. That's why that party was going on there. That's what was going on with the bear and the dude in the room and everything like that, because she was shifting through time as she was running. The hotel was actually shifting through time. So that's one theory of how he was saying he's always been the caretaker and everything like that, because in a way he has. Another theory is that it's got to do with reincarnation. And this is the one that the director leans towards the most being it. So you had Delbert Grady and Charles Grady. So Charles Grady in 1970 went crazy and chopped up his family and everything like that. Well, Delbert Grady, who was the butler that spilled the drinks on him, did the same thing. So basically, at some point in time, Jack in 1921 was there, and that he got reincarnated and that he's come back to the hotel. So that's another theory. Another theory is that the bear and the man represent Jack and Danny. And that's the type of abuse that's also happening, and that's what's kind of potentially going on, and that's what that is, because Danny had the stuffed bear and everything like that kind of looked like that bear. Yeah. So that's another theory. That's a way out there theory.
Well, I hate all 3 of those.
Yeah.
Those are crap.
Oh.
Shifting through time house? No. They didn't make any kind of... there was no... No. They didn't even talk about the damn hotel being any kind of shifty thing like that. That's stupid. That's a horrible theory.
Well, that's a theory.
That's terrible. I lean more on hallucinations than that. And then reincarnation?
Yeah.
No. I'd rather it be the ghost of the people, and they took over, and they made him go crazy, and there was like...
Well, that's also a fair theory.
What's that? Okay, there's the...
Oh, I've got another theory.
In American Horror Stories, Murder House, where they...
Watch it.
Well, it's fine.
Or that's the first one,
yeah,
right?
The first
yes,
one.
I did watch it.
Okay. There's the ghost take over the dad to try and get him to get the mom to spawn the Antichrist.
Right.
So they influence him to do certain actions to the point where he's starting to go crazy. I would have been okay with that being what's happening here.
So another thing is that the hotel is relatively dormant, but because of Danny's ability, his psychic ability, that it wakes the hotel back up. And that the dad also has psychic abilities, but that he doesn't know how to really deal with it, which is why he drinks like he does. But when he drinks, it lowers his inhibition to it, and then that's why the ghosts work on him, because the ghosts want him to kill his family and everything like that. Does that make sense?
I'd be better with that.
You're
That's a
okay
better
with
theory.
that one? Okay. So basically, yeah, the whole psychic thing and everything like that.
I really did not like the bear thing.
I do not either. So... Hey man, I don't come up with these theories. It's the internet. What are you going to do? So, how many moves?
So I waited because I know because you came home last night when I had just finished the bathroom scene.
Yeah.
And I was like, bruh, what the H going on? And you were like, no, we'll talk about it and it'll make sense. So I actually refrained from filling anything out.
Okay.
Because I wanted to talk about it first and see if talking to you would make it more understandable to me, and therefore I wouldn't rate it so low. But I'm gonna rate it low because it didn't make any sense to me, in a sense of like, that's a crap ending.
Okay.
So I gave it 2.5.
Wow.
Yeah. No,
2.5.
I probably wouldn't watch this again.
Gotcha.
And I'm really upset by that because I really had high expectations for this
Yeah.
movie. You know, everyone talks very highly of this movie.
Yeah, people
And
were
then-
excited us about doing this one. I had told a couple people, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's gonna be awesome." And
The fact, just the way it ends, doesn't make any sense, and that you really just can't explain that bear thing to me, and it make any sense.
I think it was just like she was shifting through time, and as she was seeing stuff that was going on at the party and everything like that of July 4th, 1921.
I don't.
So all of the ghosts and the evil that were finally coming to fruition. They were strong enough, and they were coming out, and they were just showing her and everything like that. So
That's crap.
there's madness.
That's
It's
too
madness.
many layers.
It
Like
was-
I always talk about how you're just adding too much layers. That's
Yeah.
That's too many layers.
It's debauchery. Debauchery. Okay. I give it 3.5.
Mm.
It's not one of my favorites, but it is an awesome movie in my opinion. As far as it's not a horror movie, but it's really a mess with your head movie, in my opinion, because I think that it's just I look at all 3 characters that are there and how each of them are reacting in this isolation situation. You've got poor Danny, who's just a kid, who's psychic and has nobody to turn to explain it. You've got Wendy, who's completely isolated and has nothing to do and go on. And you've got Jack, who is also kind of psychic and is having these mental breakdown that's going on and has some kind of feeling that he has to do his job and everything like that. It's just madness to me. And I feel bad for all 3 characters. I think it's a good movie, but it's not the Thing. It's not my favorite
No, and I
movie.
enjoyed the thing so much. I enjoyed the thing.
Do you have favorite characters?
I didn't have a favorite character. I didn't have a least favorite character. I couldn't pick anything out of this movie.
Okay.
It was such a weird, and like I say this before, and I'll say it again. I'm someone who likes plot structure.
Yeah.
I like when things make sense. I like when things are mysterious at the beginning and things tie in at the end, and at the end of the movie, like, you're like, oh yeah, like how we talked about last episode when they went to the sweets thing and the axe was on the door, and then he was chopping down the door with the axe,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh yeah, look at that, little parallels. This movie just didn't have any of that.
Okay.
And I don't know. And I've heard, and I know you said that they took differently from the book.
Yep.
But was the ending differently from the book?
Yeah. In the book, Dick Halloran does not die. There's not a hedge maze. It's actually these animals, hedge animals that they're all into like lions and stuff like that, and they come after Danny.
No, that's even worse. That's even worse.
And the hotel, you know how he's saying he has responsibilities and he has a job and he has responsibilities, he has a job. Well, one of his things that he has to do is to check on the boiler to make sure that it doesn't overheat and everything like that.
Wasn't that what Wendy was doing?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, in the book, she doesn't do that. He does, and he neglects it, and the hotel blows up.
Oh.
Yep. The hotel blows up. Wendy and Danny.
That's a terrible ending.
Wendy and Danny escape with Mr. Halloran and the cat, and he blows up and dies in the hotel.
So, anyways, what I was saying is that Stephen King.
Spoiler alert, by the way.
Is no good. I've heard a lot that he's no good at writing endings. He's got really good, like, front, like, beginning and middle, but the endings are always just garbage.
I will agree with that.
I'm going to just have to agree with that, because this is the second movie that I've seen from him. Like, I want to watch The Mist.
Yeah. Ooh, no. Mist is awesome, and the ending is great.
Right. But I'm saying, I've only seen this and it.
Yeah.
From him. And,
well, you've seen Pet Sematary.
Oh, well, yeah, I guess. That was a weird ending, too. I didn't like that one either.
Yeah. I thought that was the one you were talking about when you said 2. Sorry.
No, it wasn't my reference, but do you remember that in Stupid?
That's really one of my biggest gripes about Stephen King stuff.
Yeah.
And I will honestly 100% agree with that statement, that he has a really scary idea, he has a really scary story, and then the ending is like, kind of like kapoopsy.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's all his stories, because, again, I don't read, so I can't really give a fair shake at that. Well, but I can say for what I've seen of movies-wise, that was my feeling.
I heard that from Mom, and Mom does read. So.
Okay.
Because I remember she used to read a lot of his books and then stopped because she was angry with his writing.
Yes. There were a couple stories that she was like, meh. Yeah. And, yeah.
Did you have a favorite character or favorite scene or anything like that?
My favorite character is Jack. I just love, it's probably because it's Jack Nicholson and how he plays him, but I just love that character, that he's just fed up with life, it seems, in the first place. He feels like he's lost it at where he's at, and now he's trying to do something, and he's become obsessed with this job as the hotel caretaker, and to the point to where it drives him to madness. My least favorite character is Wendy, although I can feel for her. I just don't like her. Mm. She just drives me crazy, and I can understand. I think my favorite... If I'm in the middle of doing something, I'm sorry to cut you off, but if I'm in the middle of doing something and you're going to come in and just start asking me dumb questions, please.
Well, she was checking in on him.
No, just bring me a sandwich, and if I want to talk, I'll talk to you. Don't interrupt me when I'm writing. So.
Well, I don't know. It didn't say how long he was been in there. What if it had been like 8 hours? She was going, hey, how's it going?
Okay, that's fair. I don't know. She just seemed like she was really...
And also, like you were saying, she's got nothing to do. I would want to talk to my significant other. What are you writing? Let's bounce ideas off of each other.
Let's talk at night when I'm done writing, when I'm done for the day.
No, I mean, but he was talking about how he was stuck having issues writing.
Okay.
I'm trying to be supportive.
I
don't have a favorite character or a least favorite character because they all sucked in my opinion. But I liked his I liked how he was going. I liked the acting.
Yeah.
I just didn't like the characters. But my favorite scene definitely has to be the ballroom scene where they're all in there and so much is going on in the background because I'm a big person on the background stuff.
Yeah,
so.
The women looking at him when they get the drink spilled on them and just the whole party thing. Yeah,
and
definitely.
And you're the other dude in the back pouring drinks and then talking to the people.
Yep.
So a lot going on. Really cool.
I don't really have necessarily. I would say that it's probably his conversation with Lloyd the first time when he's like, "Okay, I slipped me," like he's like looking around.
Yeah.
Because he's gonna say, I had an accident. It was over a nitpick, a little bit amount of physical force, and I like I liked that part. So because it would be hard to do that, I think to have that kind of I commend him on his acting. I think that it's an awesome job. So anyway, you ready for some trivia?
Yep.
Awesome. So, the idea for Danny Lloyd to move his finger when he talks, Danny Lloyd is
Tony
is
right. Yeah.
Danny.
Mm-hmm.
When he's talking at Tony as Tony, is his own. He did it spontaneously during his first audition, so he decided to come up with that, and they liked it, so they put it in the movie. According to Shelley Duvall, the infamous "Here's Johnny" scene took 3 days to film, and they used 60 doors, so that's why you see it beat down like it was, from different scenes and different angles and everything like that. Speaking of that, for this scene in which Jack breaks the bathroom door, the props department built doors that could be easily broken. However, Jack Nicholson had worked as a volunteer fire marshal, and he tore the door apart easily. So they had to actually go back and put in stronger doors because he could just tear them up. To get Jack Nicholson in the right agitated mood, he was only fed cheese sandwiches for 2 weeks, which he hates.
Oh my gosh. That'll make me go mad.
I would be pissed. I like cheese sandwiches, but I'm not for 2 weeks straight.
No,
I need some meat.
I need variation. I need fruit.
Yeah. Shelley Duvall, who played Wendy, obviously, suffered from nervous exhaustion throughout the filming, including physical illness and hair loss. So this movie really took a toll on her.
Well, they should play the part.
And to sum it up, Stephen King has never understood why people find this movie scary.
No, me either. I'll agree with him on that one. I don't understand why it's scary.
He really doesn't like the film.
I don't like it either. Really.
He's not happy with it. He gave it and everything like that, but he doesn't like how it was done. So,
was that all the trivia?
That was my trivia.
Can you explain the blood in the elevator thing to me?
Okay, so no, I can't explain the blood in the elevator thing, and I don't have a good explanation of the blood in the elevator. I was hoping that you were going to skip past that.
She said she can explain it.
Oh, okay. Well, your mother can explain it later then, because I'm sure in the book, I think it was just supposed to mean murder. That's how I always took it. Like it was a vision of murder and everything like that. Ugh. Hold on one second. Let's see if we get a better explanation. No? All right. So no. You're good. You're good. I was gonna see if my wife could explain it to us, but it's good. Anyway. All right.
That's it.
It's good. It's good. Alrighty. Well, we're going to wrap this up tonight. I'd like to thank everyone for stopping by and listening to our 24th episode. We do deeply, deeply appreciate it, more than you could imagine. And of course, the best way to say that you love us is to give us a 5-star review on iTunes. And that's not just 5 stars, but if you can also write up a review, that's awesome. You can email us at the yesteryearpodcast@gmail.com. I was thinking it would be neat if we asked people to email us in maybe some cool Halloween stories. Maybe we could read one on one of the episodes.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
That. Like if you have like a cool Halloween story to tell or something like that, email us it. Maybe we'll read it on one of the episodes or whatever. Twitter.com/yesteryearpcast. Instagram is Instagram.com/yesteryearpodcast. Facebook page is Facebook.com/yesteryearpodcast. Our Facebook group is the Truffle Shufflers. Our secret question is the host names, which is James and Beth. Our website, and this is new, is the yesteryearpodcast.com. And yes, we do actually own that domain now. And if you go there, you can see reviews, you can see the episodes, listen to the episodes, you can see the artwork, you can buy merch, you can do all kinds of crazy stuff. Please, please, please go to our website. You can leave us messages. You can leave voicemails on there. It's crazy, all the stuff that we can do. It's through this really neat site that we found by our friends at another podcast, and I went right with it, man. So yes, the yesteryearpodcast.com. Go there and check it out. Patreon is patreon.com/the nostalgia group. Of course, our shout out to Greg Revan, who does our music for us for the show. And as always, we like to say good night and we love you. Say good night, Beth.
Good night, everyone.